guys, and welcome back here to another tutorial of the DevRealm, and today we're gonna carry on our series about our building system. So the last thing we did in the previous episode, we can press place and it spawns the cube in front of the player, and then if you right click, the cube disappears. And today we need to fix this bug, and then we have to make sure that the cube is moving around. So the first thing I want to do here just to fix that bug is to do with this, destroy actor. Before you can destroy the actor, I just want to make sure that is valid. Is valid using a node, is valid. So just gonna plug this here, plug that here, and now when I press play, so press V, press place part, nice, so it's in there, press right click, and then the part disappear, which is really good. There's one bug here as well that I want to fix before we carry on, which is, okay, press here, press place, press V again, press place. So we need to somehow destroy that part that's not yet being placed. And to do that, we can just call this node here called cancel building part. That will do that for us. So if I press V, press place, and then we press place again, you see? So it kind of delete that part for us, which is really good. So now we can carry on with our moving part here. So let's just rename this. It's going to be called spawn preview part. And later on, the idea is that we're going to have an option to say, is this a preview part? And that's going to be true or false. If it's true, then we're going to add like a green texture with some kind of opacity, so you know you can see that this is like a green thing. But alright, so now we got this stuff kind of set up, which is really good. And what we got to do here is that on the event tick, we need to somehow check where is the camera location hitting something on the game. So for this, we do need to use event tick. So let me check the event graph. Yeah, we don't have anything yet, which is okay. One thing that I realized here is that I don't have a reference of my how's it called, my controller. So to get my controller reference in here, what we can do here is, I'm just gonna do it the quick way. We could also done this. Actually, there's a better way you can do that. So I'm gonna right click here. I'm gonna call the controller ref, right? The type of the controller is going to be BP player. Now BP player controller. It's going to be an object reference. Make sure it's public so we can access from other places. And remember that when we boot our player controller in the event graph here, we do this, boot player. And then we have a reference of the player palm here using an interface. So the best way we can do this is just that we use this callback to set the reference of the player controller in the palm, so we can use stuff on the palm. So what we can do that, pretty simple. We're gonna get the player reference, and we're gonna call set controller set player player ref. No, that's the wrong one. How's it called? There you go. Set controller reference. My bad. Set controller reference. And all you gotta do here, the reference is self. Let me set that again. Self. Here we go. Compile and save. Compile and save. And pretty much that's it. Now on the building system here is where we're gonna have to create some kind of a line trace. Just to give you context here, what we're trying to do right now is that when the player press place, you see this the white dot that we need to somehow move the cubes where the player is pointing. That's pretty much what happened like in Fortnite or something like this, where you start to move that thing around. So to do this is really simple. We need to get here the event tick, and what we're gonna do that is that we're gonna get the player reference, the controller reference, and this is where, guys, there's many ways you can achieve this, right? You can do this in the controller, you can do this in here, you can do this in many places. But what I want to create here is that we actually think that, just thinking out loud now, we can do this in the player controller. Let's do this in the player controller. So it's going to be the same thing, don't worry. I'm just changing my mind here because is all the logic will live in one place instead of many different places. Okay. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to call the event tick, right? And remember, event tick, if I just press print here, is going to be basically saying hello every second. It's a really powerful thing, but also is a really heavy resource thing to have on your game. So keep in mind that more event tick you have, more the performance drag you have on your game. So the standard usually is that you only activate that as you need to. So in our case, what we're going to do here is that we're going to create a branch. And remember that we have here a building mode, right? We have a variable here. So we already have this. So if this thing is in building mode, what we can do that is that we gonna do some stuff on this. We already have the player reference. So we're gonna get a player reference. And we already know that the player has a camera as a reference. So we have to somehow create a line trace on this. So to do that, we're going to go back to the player controller. We're going to get camera, follow camera, and in here we're going to call something called line trace. That's a line trace by, let me check here, by channel, by profile. We want to do the line trace by channel, right? So the line trace is basically a place where it's like is how far you want. You basically want to create a line between the camera and where the camera is pointing at, so you can calculate where the player is looking at. So this is a technique that a lot of games use. So if I just give you an example here, you see that my the little dot is aiming at the blue cube there. So what I want to do here is that once it's aiming at that cube, I want to see what's hitting that. If it's hitting something, then I want to move my part to that place, right? So to do that, we got the camera, and we know that the camera has a start location. We don't know yet how far do we want to go, but so the following camera, we're gonna get the camera here. So we're gonna get word location, and we're gonna plug this here. And I'm just gonna plug that here, and the end is that where do you want your channel to end. So normally what you want to do here is that you always want to get, for example, you have the camera that you want to make sure that you add at least 1,000 units in the X location. So to do that, we're gonna go back to the player controller here, and we're gonna do something like this. So we're gonna set, no, I think it's add. We're gonna call the node here add. No, sorry, it's make transform. Let's see, make vector. And what we want to do here is that we want to add those together. There we go. Sorry, I was looking for the wrong node. So I'm just gonna search here. And remember that we already kind of know how many units we want. So let's put here 1,000 on the X location. That means that it's gonna be the camera, whatever the camera is looking at, and it's gonna be using that. And we're gonna plug this to the end location. And we're gonna expand this, and we need to make sure that we can see where it's actually looking at. So I'm gonna just debug that, and let's see if that works. So if we're gonna press place, do you see that we have that location? It's a little bit buggy at the moment, so we need to make sure that follows where my player is looking at. So let's do that for now. Alright guys, so yeah, I just found the bug here. It's something I actually forgot to do, which is really simple. So the way you can actually make this thing work properly is that, okay, so we get the word location, that's fine, that's what we got before. We also need to make sure that we get a camera rotation, because we want to make sure that the camera rotates with us, okay? And the next thing we want to do here is that we want to get a forward vector. We want to multiply this guy by how many units you want. In this case, we want to multiply by 1,500. And then what we want to do here is just want to add those two together. We want to combine this to that. And then you plug this here. And then in here, just right click in that. And then we're gonna press float, and we gonna put here a very big value there. So if I press play, my actor now should have that thing following the right location. You see that that line is hitting the places what I want to. It's hitting my player as well, which I really don't want to do that. But there's let's fix here the camera location rotation before we can actually wrap this video up. So I'm gonna go here back to the building system. And let's play around with the camera here. So let's check actually a good place that we can. So we got the camera here. We know that this is good. So let's put 120. Let's see what happened if you put 120 here. So it's gonna put 120. Let's see how great or how bad this looks. Yeah, there we go. So we have a little bit of a more, you know, just a better way of placing this around. So in this way, the camera doesn't get in the front of the player, and then it can interact with everything in the world. So that's everything for this lesson. The next lesson here is that we're gonna actually get the location that we're hitting here, and then move that white cube to this location, so we can start to place this camera here. So once again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next video.